The Edwards 10 Cinemas at the Southwick Mall was destroyed tonight in what appears to be a bomb blast of some kind. Police are not releasing very many details at this time, except that a muscular man in a tank top and a pretentious emo jackass were seen entering the building through a rear entrance, and that shortly after the explosion, two small, furry survivors, one with a British accent, were seen fleeing the scene on foot. We will update you as soon as we get further information and events continue to unfold. I'm Janelle Clutterbuck, and I may or may not be a recurring character.
Taken straight from the jungle, where they'd swing from the trees.
Sent to a lab to be test monkeys.
They started out as normal creatures, but
Then came the big procedure. Now the monkeys are smart, just like Stephen Hawking. And they review movies, sometimes praising, sometimes mocking.
there are films that we love.
There are films that we hate.
So you can get reviews from a brilliant primate. They're addicted to movies. They're a couple of film junkies. Is it bad or is it groovy? Ask the Cinemonkeys.
We need to find a place to hide.
Yes. I propose taking refuge inside the mall itself. I know of a secret entrance which is always left unlocked.
How'd you find out about that?
The iPhone. I simply said, Siri, locate vague exposition which advances the plot.
You mean the Scientologists put Tom Cruise's daughter inside our phone?
Yes. Let's go find Leo Remini. Keep to the shadows, my furry friend. We don't want to attract the attention of a mall cop.
I refuse to pay any attention to any mall cop after sitting through both Paul Blart movies.
That's not what I meant. We need to keep a low profile.
Let's review a movie. Please Stand By is a drama with comic elements starring Dakota Fanning as Wendy Welcott, a young autistic woman who lives in a group home because her sister Audrey, played by Alice Eve from Star Trek Into Darkness, without her British accent or any gratuitous underwear shots, was afraid her violent tantrums would be a danger to Audrey's baby Ruby. Wendy's true love is Star Trek, presumably without her sister doing a British accent and gratuitous underwear shots, and she writes a fan script for a contest Paramount Pictures is running for the 50th anniversary of the beloved sci-fi franchise. But when complications stop her from mailing the script in time to meet the deadline, Wendy decides that she and her tiny dog Pete belong in a buddy road movie. So she sneaks out of the group home and, by bus and on foot, she makes a trek of her own from Oakland to Los Angeles, resisting the urge to do a British accent or gratuitous underwear shots. Dakota Fanning is really great in this movie, and her performance helps carry it over what rough spots it has. It's a little too conventional and cliched to achieve true greatness, but it's so sweet, likable, and engaging that it's hard not to fall in love with the movie. Alice Eve is good as the sister, as is Toni Collette as Wendy's therapist Scotty, who sometimes just don't have the energy to cope with Wendy, and River Alexander is Scotty's son Sam. But my favorite supporting turns were from Patton Oswalt as a police officer who also loves Star Trek, presumably with no strong thoughts about British accent but enjoying gratuitous underwear shots, and a delightful and welcome appearance from Marla Gibbs from 227.
You mean Marla Gibbs from the Jeffersons?
But she was also on 227.
But her career was defined by the Jeffersons.
NBC advertised 227 by putting her name in a song. 227 is a comedy starring Marla Gibbs and her family.
Which they were able to do because everyone knew who she was because she played Florence on the Jeffersons.
Fine. Hal Williams was just the drill sergeant from Private Benjamin.
Well, I did quite like Regina King in Miss Congeniality too.
Oh, she was the best part of that movie. Please Stand By is available on video on demand and in a limited release in theaters.
What's wrong, Sprocket?
I was comfortable at the movie theater. It was home.
I know, Sprocket, but I'm afraid we don't have a home anymore. We're fugitives.
I'm guessing somehow there's a one-armed man involved.
Oh, just because I said we're fugitives, you think there's a one-armed man involved?
No, it's just I found this.
Where did you get that?
It was in the garbage can by Hot Dog on a Stick. I was looking for food.
Someone's coming! Quick! There's an open door just off frame! It's all so beautiful! I never knew such things existed.
I've heard about this stuff. It's called memorabilia. It's the fourth most popular way for aging adult males to pretend they're still young. And the most popular that doesn't involve the risk of jail time.
It's Matt Damon as Jason Bourne, Bruce Willis as John McClane, and Kevin Costner as the...
Whoa, Spielberg stuff. I'm gonna need a bigger shelf.
Look, Sprocket, it's Anne Hathaway. Well, people can buy you, and then they have something to irrationally dislike or resent wherever they go. Let's review our next film, Peter Rabbit. The works of Beatrix Potter have been beloved for generations, and the backlash against pulling them into a modern setting with a contemporary, even dare I say it, hip sensibility have been loud and widespread. It's not hard to understand why purists would feel that way, but it's always best to wait until one has actually seen a film before condemning it. The titular character is still getting into mischief in McGregor's garden, but in this version, both of his parents, not just his father, have passed on to that great big bunny hop in the sky, and Peter, as the eldest, is left to care for his siblings.
Like Party of Five, but with rabbits.
Well, yes, quite literally even. There are 5 of them.
Which one of them's dating Jennifer Love Hewitt?
None of them. She's not in the film.
But you said one of the characters was titular. Matthew Fox and Scott Wolf sound like characters from Peter Rabbit.
Anyway, when Mr. McGregor, played by the always delightful Sam Neill, sporting a thick beard and a Scottish accent...
So it's kind of like Alan Grant playing John Hammond.
Yes, fair point. Anyway, McGregor dies of a heart attack, and his home is inherited by his great-nephew, played by Domhnall Gleeson. The younger McGregor, who doesn't like the farm or farm animals, plans to sell the place, but becomes especially enamored with a neighbor named Bee, an artist played by Rose Byrne, who loves the local wildlife and is clearly meant to be a new personification of Beatrix Potter herself. Peter Rabbit doesn't take kindly to this, being quite fond of Bee himself, and a war breaks out between man and rabbit, trying to drive each other off of the land. In order to enjoy this film, you have to be willing to accept that this is only one new and loose take on the story, not meant to be definitive, and not capable of retroactively destroying anyone's childhood, or making anyone roll over in their graves, you bunch of dithering drama queens. In terms of tone and quality, it lands somewhere in between Paddington and Alvin and the Chipmunks, with too much of the humor feeling a bit lowbrow and with plenty of allusions to groins, buttocks, and other things the kiddies love these days. And the moments when it starts to feel like a return to the short-lived Home Alone genre of the 90s made me want to bang my head against the chair in front of me. But there's a fair amount of genuine whimsy and fun as well. Gleason and Byrne are quite charming, and with lesser actors, this probably wouldn't have come together. Corden does a capable job as Peter, though Daisy Ridley and Margot Robbie as Cottontail and Flopsy, respectively, are even better, as is Colin Moody as Cousin Benjamin. There's an over-reliance on popular songs, as director Will Gluck relies on the familiar crutch to set the mood and sell an album at the same time. But it all moves at a brisk pace, and it's cute, and often very easy to embrace, not unlike myself. It's hardly a potential awards candidate, but Peter Rabbit is a fun film to see with your children. I give it 2.5 bananas.
Hey, it's Peter Jackson as a Hobbit, and George Lucas as an X-Wing pilot. I wonder if they have J.J. Abrams as a lens flare, or Michael Bay as a big steaming pile of shit.
Shush! Someone's coming. Sprocket!
Yeah, Zoom?
Do you still have the iPhone?
Always.
I'm going to need you to put up a black screen with a white caption.
What's it gonna say?